Hey guys, welcome back to Big Battles Little Worlds. Today I'm covering 3 mistakes I see new players make all the time and how to avoid them. If you haven't already, do please like and subscribe so you'll be kept updated when I release future content. Anyway, mistake number 1, chasing the next shiny thing. I see it all the time, and that is a person will start a new army. Could be an entirely new game, but they start a new army. They just get going with it, and then something else comes along, and then they jump ship to the next army or the next box set. And they keep doing this, and they never actually develop a core army in any one of them. It's just constantly chasing the next thing. They never learn how to use one of their previous armies fully. And so they end up with lots and lots and lots of half-started games. And to be honest, it's not just new players who do this, even seasoned veterans. I've got a few games where I've done that myself. But yeah, chasing the next shiny thing, that's the first mistake. So my advice to overcome that is do a little bit more research to start with. Your first army, when you're just getting into the hobby, is find the one that you really want to play. Secondly, once you've, I would say, found the period that you want to play, is then find, if there's a local gaming club, the rule set specifically that club will be using on a semi-regular basis. That way you can actually use the miniatures, and you'll be less likely to jump between different armies and different units, because maybe someone's got one that you can borrow before you just jump into it. Number 2 is trying to learn all of the specifics first, forgetting the objective of the game is to have fun. I mean, how many times do you see different rule sets where people will sit down and for half an hour they'll be just trying to build an army list before they even start the game? Now, some of you may enjoy that, and there's nothing wrong with it. But if you're just starting out in a hobby, in my own experience, I would find it incredibly boring to have to play half an hour's worth of time just building a paper list so that I've got everything set up before I even get a miniature moving on the table. So forget learning everything specifically and just focus on that objective of having fun. Furthermore, whilst in tournaments, having that perfect army list is good. When everything's balanced and you have points, cool, yep, go for it. Spend as much time as you want to try and get every advantage out of every miniature. That's a good idea. However, I would say, again from my own experience, the best games are the ones which are not balanced. I mean, even when you think of history, how many times have you had the desperate last stand, where the few men have withstood against the horde? It's those sort of stories which, when you put them into your war game, really become memorable. Even in the sort of science fiction, when you think of, Warhammer 40,000, Rin's World, if you remember the artwork of the Imperial Fists, kind of in a square, it was almost just the last men, one of them holding the standard, everyone firing off, there's men wounded, and the orcs are closing in. Again, that's not a balanced battle. They're completely outnumbered, but what an epic story that is. So again, remember the objective of the game is to have fun, and don't get fixated on learning every single specific rule from the start, or making that perfect army list from the start. That can come later. Focus on having fun. And the third mistake that I see people doing is trying to do too much, too fast, too soon. When they start the hobby, they go out and they buy 3 boxes of this, 2 boxes of that. They want to have the artillery, they want to have the tanks, whatever it happens to be. They buy too much too quickly, and it becomes overwhelming. I would say, potentially, if you want to buy a starter box, go for it, because that kind of gets you going. But if there isn't a prescribed starter box for you, you're better off starting small, buying 1 box, painting them up. That way you're not going to become overwhelmed by it. And that way you can see your force growing slowly but surely, and you're less likely to end up with that box of shame in the corner where you made a start and got completely overwhelmed, and then you decided not to paint any more of them. So again, start small and grow rather than starting off with too much. And I guess this point kind of ties back into point 1 of chasing the next shiny thing. Yeah, sometimes people, if they get overwhelmed with the one project, then they shift into something else to try and get a break, but then maybe they don't return to the original one. So start smaller and then build up. Example of my own, when the Warlord Games Epic American Civil War came out, I had a great idea that I was going to recreate the whole Battle of Gettysburg, one base as a regiment. And I've got the miniatures, but most of them are still in the box. And unlikely that I'll get around to doing them because other hobbies and projects have come along. But they're still there, my pile of shame. So again, start small, start manageable, and then build to your goals. Don't necessarily start off with a giant goal at the beginning because it is often overwhelming, even for veterans such as myself. But anyway, if you keep those in mind, you'll start having more enjoyable games, in my opinion. And that way you can develop and grow as you gain more experience. But anyway, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know the biggest mistake you made when starting out. If you want to if you want to support the channel, if you head down to the coffee channel, the link is in the description. Over there you can find rule books and scenarios that I've put together. And if you want to pick one of those up, the money goes back and I spend it all on more miniatures and creating extra stuff for the channel. So that would be really great. But if not, I hope you enjoyed and I will see you next time. Thanks guys.